Inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We move on with our grammar lesson, and we so far have been discussing al-idafa, module 7 of our grammar lesson. So we've talked about what is idafa, and other than that, uh, we have also talked about the feature of mudhaf and mudhaf ilayhi. So we mentioned that mudhaf, the feature of mudhaf, it can have it should not have alif lam. It should not have tanween. We also said that it could be connected to a mudaf ilayhi that is a nakira or a ma'rifah. We mentioned that if mudaf is connected to a nakira, it becomes a nakira, by structure. Okay, and then becomes, we call it mukhassas, looking at it from the grammatical and the semantical view perspective. So we mentioned all of that. So for mudaf ilayhi, we mentioned that it can be a ma'rifah or a nakira. And mudaf ilayhi, we said it must always take a kasra at the end. The vowel at the end has to be kasra. If it is a singular noun, okay, if it is a singular noun or a broken plural, that's jamu taksir. So these two things are important to take into account. Okay, so we have qalam zaydin, and we have imam al-masajid. This is why I explained that masajid, okay, on the pattern of mafa'il, it's a mamnu min as-sarf, is a deep thought, but the moment it has alif lam, it becomes mutasarrif again. So I think the explanation was clear enough that time. Okay, now let's look at exceptions. So we talk about kitabu hadha, for example. We mentioned that hadha is a mudafun ilayhi, but is mabni ala sukuni fi mahalli jarrin. It is mabni, and being a mabni, it means it is invariable. Is an invariable noun. The same thing with dhalika, tilka. So except that basically all asma'ul ishara are mabni, except when they are now dual. When they are muthanna, yeah, they become mu'rab again. Hadhani, atani. So you want to say, we've not talked about the i'rab of muthanna yet. So, but this is what's going to happen. If you want to say hadhani, the book of these two, that's hadhani. We want to do idafa of kitab to hadhani. It is mu'rab. So it's going to be kitabu hadhaini. Kitabu hadhaini. So when we get to i'rab of two muthanna, now we'll learn that the alif will change to a ya. So kitabu hadhaini. So the moment it is two, dual, then you have to, it becomes a ma'rab. But hadha, dhalika, tilka, ahulahi, and ulahika, the plurals, they are also mabni. They don't change at all. They are invariable, so they do not change at all. They remain the same position. So I think I've explained this as well. So we've talked about all of these anyways. Aishatu, Zainabu, Fatimatu, and all other feminine names, okay, they don't have tanween in this case. They don't have a tanween, and of course, they will not take a kasra because they are mamnu' min as-sarf. Mamnu' min as-sarf. So that's why we have waladu Aishata bint Zainaba. So I mentioned this, and this is where I was talking about mudhakkarun hissi and mudhakkar ma'nawi. the specifically feminine and all of that. Maryam, Zainab. So we did all of this. And we mentioned Talha, Hamza, having the sign of feminine, but they are truly masculine by meaning. So we talked about this in the last lesson. Okay. So we did all of that. Now, I think I gave this as a classwork as well. Aisha's bag, Zainab's phone. Did I give this as a classwork? Zainab's phone, Fatima's cupboard, the principal's bicycle. So if not, so let's try to do it, please. Let's try to do this as well. Latifa's purse, the school bus, the exercise book of the student, the woman's shoes. So let's try to translate this. So it's part of our classwork. So please let's do that. I also mentioned, I think I give it to us the last lesson. So I mentioned the comparison between imra and al-mar'ah. I was talking about mar'u and imru'un and al-mar'u. So we did that. Oh yes. So this is where our intermediate, according to the previous setup, the previous scheme of work, this is where the intermediate class is supposed to be, but it's no more like that. It is part of the beginner lesson, the beginner class. So for this month, we've come to the last module, which is module 8 of our lesson. And it's all about Muraja, just a revision of the Al-Ma'rifah that we have learned so far. So we have learned definite nouns, and we mentioned that there are 7 categories. So let's look at them wholesomely. If you have not written it in a wholesome way like this, try to write it. The first one, list of Al-Ma'rifah. The first is Ism al-Alam, the proper noun. Zainab, Ahmed, Latifa, okay, Zaidun, Jamilatun, and so on and so forth. That's Ismul Alam. That's number 1, Ma'rifah. Number 2, that is a Ma'rifah, Al-Mu'arraf bil-Alif wal-Lam. Al-Mu'arraf bil-Alif wal-Lam. The noun that you turn to a Ma'rifah by adding Alif Lam. We have Kitabun becomes Al-Kitab. We have Baytun and becomes Al-Bayt. That's a Ma'rifah. Number 3, Al-Dhama'if. That's pronoun. Personal pronouns. Huwa, hiya, anta, anti, and all of that. So all personal pronouns of Dhama'ir, they are Ma'rifah. Number 4, Asma'ul Ishara. Demonstrative pronouns. هذا, هذه, تلك, ذلك, تلك. They are also proper nouns. They are Al-Ma'rifah. Number 5, Al-Asma'u Al-Mawsula. Al-Asma' Al-Mawsula, relative pronouns. For example, الذي, التي. We are going to talk about this in module 20. Al-Mawsul will be dealt with in module 20, inshallah. Okay, so which is going to be somewhere around the end of the lesson in beginner level. So التي, الذي, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وعلى كل شيء قدير. جاء الرجل الذي رأيت. So it's part of al-ma'rifah. It is called Asma'ul Mawsula, relative pronouns. Relative pronouns. Now number 6, al-idhafa ila al-ma'rifah. We did this. This is what brought us to al-idhafa. Al-idhafa ila al-ma'rifah, al-mudhaf ila al-ma'rifah. Kitab al-talibi. The kitab, because it is added to al-talib, it becomes a ma'rifah as well. While al-talib is ma'rifah, it becomes a ma'rifah. So if we join it to a nakira, we said it becomes a nakira. But if you want to explain it better, in a more expressive way, you say it is mukhassas. However, calling it a nakira is not bad at all. Number 7, النكرة المقصودة بالندى. النكرة المقصودة بالندى. And now we looked at these in Medina book, in our Durus al-Lugha. This is also a ma'rifah, النكرة المقصودة بالندى. It's any word that you intended to call. Ya Zaidu. We have it as Zaidun. It is a ma'rifah initially, anyways, but the moment you had a ya, you remove the tanween. It becomes Ya Zaidu. Rajulun is a nakira. The moment you had a ya, it becomes a ma'rifah. Ya Rajul. Because it is maqsudatun min nida. So these are all the these are all the ma'rifah that we have. These are the ma'rifah that we do what? That we have. So I think we understand that, right? So do we have any question so far? Okay, so let's run through. This is part of module 8, so let's run through this. So we talk about al-idafa, and then these are the 7 al-ma'rifah that we have. So talking about al-idafa, we've defined it. We said it shows relationship and all of that. So Ibn al-Muallim. So we did all of this. Now we learn to look at nakira, a noun to a nakira. So idafa of a noun to a nakira now. Al-mudaf ila nakira. So when you say baytu rajulin, now we've talked about this a number of times, but let's express it a little bit further. Baytu rajulin, a man's house. A man's house. So rajulin is a nakira. So baytun becomes a nakira too as a result of its addition to a rajulin. Okay. But if you want to express it, it says mukhassas, because its own nakira is not like the nakira of when you just say baytun. Baytun that is not connected to anything is free in the world. But baytu rajulin is not a little limited. It's not specific. So we say it's mukhassas. So the kind of its own nakira is a mukhassas. Nakiratun mukhassasa. That's another way to put it. Mawqif sayyaratin, a motor park. Bintu muallimin, a teacher's daughter. Shibshibu waladin, sayyaratu mudirin. Okay. Now we look at this grammar tip. So we mentioned that the first part of an idafa is a mudaf. The second part is mudaf ilayh. We talked about all the feature that it has, and we explained why this one is a mukhassas. We say it's a kind of a nakira that is mukhassas. Nakiratun mukhassasa. That's the full description of it. Nakiratun mukhassasa is a nakira, but what kind of nakira? Is a mukhassas nakira, a nakira that is specific this time around. So that's what we have there. So we say Kitabu Talibin, a student book, or the book of a student. The book of what? Of a student. Zawjatu Rajulin, a man's wife, or the wife of a man. Okay? So Qalbu Insanin, a person's heart. Qalbu Insanin, a person's heart. So these are what we have here. Now let's do this homework, this classwork together. Yes, so this is where we need everyone to say something. Now we want to translate the tree of a house. How do we translate this? The tree of a house. Yes, the tree of a house.
شجرة بيت.
Yes, mashallah, shajaratu baytin. Okay, someone else should translate the next one. The food of a restaurant. The food of a restaurant. The food of a restaurant. Please, yeah, let's say something. The food of a restaurant. Another person?
I mean,
Yeah. The food of a restaurant.
طعام مطعم.
Okay, yeah. طعام مطعم. Actually, مطعم is a restaurant. مطعم. It's not مطعم. You don't say mu. Ma. So طعام مطعم. Okay, yes. The high of a man, or a man's high.
أين أين رجل.
Barakallah fiqh. That's beautiful. عين رجل. And homework. Homework. I have an homework, like an assignment, anyways. Yeah, how do you say homework? Like an assignment.
واجب منزلي.
Barakallah fiqh. واجب منزل. واجب منزل.
We've been trying to differentiate between linking a noun with a marifa and now with a nakira. To me, I think I'm still a bit confused
Yeah,
how to differentiate the two, most especially when you are translating the English to Arabic.
yeah. What's the point of confusion exactly? Yeah. I want to understand the point
For
where you're
example,
confused.
the food of a restaurant.
Oh,
Ordinarily,
yes.
I would have said طعام المطعم. I would have said
Okay.
طعام المطعم instead of طعام المطعم. مطعم.
Okay. So, okay, now let's look at it this way. If we say the food of a restaurant, now how do you differentiate? How is it different from the food of the restaurant? The food of the restaurant and the food of a restaurant. So if you translate the food of a
Yeah,
restaurant
there's a
as,
difference.
there's a difference, right? The food of a restaurant and the food of the restaurant. They both are different. They're both different. They're different, right? So automatically, if you say you would translate the food of a restaurant as طعام المطعم, given المطعم ألف لام. So how else would you have translated the food of the restaurant? Do you understand? Do you now understand it now? Is it clear now?
Yes, better.
So a restaurant, this is the difference. The food of a restaurant. This is the difference. A restaurant and the restaurant. So if I say the food of a restaurant and the food of the restaurant, so the two are different. A restaurant, the restaurant, and so the definition is different. Now, this is another way to put it: a restaurant's food and the restaurant's food. A restaurant food and the restaurant food, represented by R, then the restaurant food. Okay, so it's different from a restaurant food. So the article a and the makes the difference in English, and the presence of alif lam and without the alif lam makes the difference in Arabic. So I think it's more clear now, right?
Now, Jazakallah.
Now, and so number 5, we have the baby's flask. So flask is qarura, and baby in this case is tiflun. So how do you put it together? A baby's restaurant. Yeah, Sister Jamila, you can help us with this. A baby's restaurant.
A baby's flask.
Oh, sorry, a baby's flask. Yes, thank you.
Tiflo Korurati.
No.
Korura.
Yes. Yeah, I can't hear you properly. It
Oh no,
skipped. Yeah,
it should be it should be Korurati Tifli.
tiflin.
Tiflin.
Yes, with a tanwin. Qaruratu tiflin. Qaruratu tiflin. Okay, so that's it. Now, how do we now say the baby's flask? The baby.
So it's
The
going to be
baby.
Korurati Tifli because we have Alif Salam at Tifli.
Yeah.
Korurati Tifli.
Yes. Qaruratu
Tifli.
Qaruratu tifli. Okay, in that manner, qaruratu tifli with a shadda. And without it, we say qaruratu tiflin, to mean a baby's flask. Okay, so I think this is all clear, right? So everything about idafa, this is everything you need to learn about idafa, except when we get to the idafa of muthanna, the idafa of jam'u, the adjective of mudaf, and the idafa ilaysa, and other than that. So we talk about that as we move to. So we've completed module 8 of our lesson. So next month, the last we are live, we start the next the module 9, inshallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us and grant us the full understanding of the lesson. Any question? Okay, so if there is no question by Saturday, we'll complete uh the lesson 8 also of Medina book. And yeah, the exam the test might be released on Tuesday. I mean, sorry, on Monday, because we may leave one day in between. We may leave Sunday for revision for those who there are some people who could not join the live lesson. They are watching the lesson on YouTube. So we'll give them a room, maybe like give them the whole of Sunday to revise, and the test will be dropped on Monday, and then you can do it through Monday to Tuesday before the lesson at night, and then submission, and then we start marking it, and the result will be released. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy and grant us blessings. So if there's no question, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alaikum salam.